Hello everyone, so we are again back with a new video, and in this video we will be discussing about the ways by which we can become effective speaker, the ways by which we can communicate our ideas properly in a better way in situations where we feel nervous, in situations where we just freak out when we need to speak. There are many times in our office, or many times we have faced such a situation where we just freak out when we get opportunity to speak. Same thing happens with me many times. Even these days, during these days, I just freak out. I just feel nervous when I get the opportunity to speak in front of people. In office, many times there are opportunities for me to speak in front of people, in front of my seniors, and there are a group of people in front of which I need to speak, like 10 to 15 people are there in the meeting, or you can see farewell of some person is going on, and in that farewell what we need to do is that we need to express our feelings and thoughts, and how we have felt during the time that we have spent with that colleague. So I have felt that during such kind of situation I just feel nervous, I just freak out, I ran out of the ideas, I don't have ideas to explain what is going in my mind. So how can we become more comfortable in such situations, in the situations where we need to speak spontaneously? How can we speak confidently, and how can we be just cool? How can we speak in English, or doesn't matter we are speaking in Hindi, but we can speak comfortably, and we can express the thoughts that we truly have in our brain, the things that are going in our head. So I just watched a video on YouTube. It was delivered by a person who is teaching this public speaking from the last 15 to 20 years, and he has given some really great techniques and tips on how we can become more comfortable while speaking publicly in spontaneous situations. So the first thing that he tells is that we need to deal with the anxiety. We need to deal our anxious feelings that we face when we see the crowd in front of us, when we see a group of people in front of us. So how can we be comfortable? So what we need to do, we need to reframe the thoughts that are going in our head. We need to change the thinking, change the thoughts that are going in our head when we are about to speak. Generally what happens that when we are about to speak, at the time we feel nervous, we feel butterflies in our stomach, we feel sweating in our hands, and we also feel our heart beat rate to just rise too much. Our heartbeat start beating at a higher rate that is not normal. So all these things are symptoms of anxiety and nervousness, and we just freak out. We feel that I'm feeling nervous, and how I will be able to speak here. So what we need to do is that we need to tell ourselves that I'm not nervous. We need to tell ourselves that I'm excited. I'm excited because I have got the opportunity to speak in front of people. I'm excited to grow. I'm excited to face this not as a challenge but as an opportunity. I'm excited to get this opportunity to speak in front of people. When we say I'm excited, then our body, our brain just calms down, because the symptoms of anxiety, nervousness are just very similar to the state when we feel excited. So when we say we are excited, then our everything changes in our brain. So this is something very great tip that we can use, that we can say to ourselves that I'm very excited to deliver the speech here. I'm very excited to face the crowd. I'm very excited that because I got this opportunity to speak and grow. So this is something that we can tell ourselves. And when we are feeling the symptoms of anxiety, then at the time what we can do, we can tell ourselves that right now my body is preparing for this thing. It is everybody knows that it is a big thing to speak publicly, so we need to say ourselves that my body and my brain are preparing itself for this talk, for this speech. So this is the first thing that we can do. The second thing that we can do is reframe the thought of when we need to speak publicly, that what happens. So we feel like we are giving a performance, but at that time we just need not to think like that. We just need not to think like we are giving a performance or something like that. We just need to say to ourselves that it is a conversation. It will be more like a conversation or discussion that will happen between me and this crowd. So when you say that it is a conversation, not and you are not performing here, it will be only a conversation, then you feel more comfortable. So it was the second thing. The third thing that you can do is try to be as present in the situation as you can, because when we are anxious, we are just only thinking about the future. Our brain is thinking about the consequences of the talk that we are delivering. Our brain is conscious of the results that we will get after performing that activity. Like for example, we need to go to our boss to talk about the leaves, to sanction the leaves that we want. So before talking to our boss, we just feel anxious. In our brain, we are only thinking about the result that we will get. We are only thinking about the consequences. We are thinking that he will deny, he will say this and that, and he will not sanction our leaves. So this is something that we are only thinking about the consequences, the results of the conversation. So we need not to think about the future. We just need to be in the present moment. So how can we be in the present moment? So there are two ways that you can do. The first thing we cannot do every time, but there are situations where we can do this thing. We can listen to our favorite songs. When we listen to our songs, our favorite songs, then what actually happens? Our brain, our body, everything comes in the present moment. The second thing that we can do is we can count backwards. We can count from 100 to 1, like 100, 99, 98, 97, 96. So when we will be doing that, at that time our brain will come in the present moment, because when we count backwards, at that time we need to think consciously. At that time our brain starts thinking consciously, and it halts that loop of overthinking that has been playing from last you can say last few minutes or few hours, doesn't matter, it depends from person to person. So this is something you can do to be in the present moment. The fourth tip that you can apply is try not to be perfect. What actually happens is that we are not ready to make mistakes. We feel that we need to give a perfect speech, we need to give a perfect talk, we need to give a perfect conversation. So when we say this thing, then our brain just become anxious, because at that time we are stopping, we are saying to ourselves that there is no scope to make mistakes. So we don't need to do this thing. We just need to say to ourselves that everyone make mistakes, I will also make mistakes, everybody makes mistakes. So it is perfectly normal to make mistakes. The thing is that we need to learn from our mistakes and grow. So that was it was the fourth tip. The fifth tip that you can apply to become a great communicator is to listen properly. It is one of the best tip, because when you are talking to a person, when you are talking to public, or you are doing any Q&A session, at that time when an audience is asking question to you, you need to be calm and listen to what they are saying, because if you will not understand their requirement, their need, what they actually want from you, then you will not be able to satisfy them. So your goal should be to speak what the other people want to listen. If they are asking something that you don't know, then you can just simply say that you don't know, but you will tell that thing after the talk, or after a few days, when you will get the knowledge of that thing. So this is something you can do. This was the fifth tip, and now we will talk about the sixth tip that we can apply. It is to respond in a structured and organized manner. When we are answering to questions that are asked in a meeting, or in any public seminar or something like that, where there are a group of people and they are asking something and we are speaking, and there are many people who are listening to us, at that time we need to deliver in a structured and manner way. And how can we do that? How can we organize our thoughts in a